The eye is a complex and wonderful creation, more advanced than the best cameras on the market today. This important organ plays such a vital role in how we as humans perceive our environment. But for millions of Canadians, their lives are impacted by vision loss. With new work and development being done in vision loss research, we explore age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in Canada. Join me as we journey into the eye. I'm Alex Smyth, and this is Eye on Research. When I was diagnosed with Usher syndrome, I became interested in vision research. This has led me to the University of Alberta, where I met leading researcher Dr. Yves Sauvé.
Well, vision research is important because, very unfortunately, we think that our society is adapted for the people with vision loss. It's not. And kudos to AMI and to other organizations, CNIB, who are really helping people who have vision differences. Let me use the word vision difference. You see differently. You see mainly with your brain, and let's say that the outside world is not being captured and modulated, but you have vivid images.
I always wanted to know why my eyes saw vision differently, and thanks to advances in modern technology, I could do just that.
We get started with the basics of what you would find at the optometrist. The ophthalmologist is a fundus camera. So we're going to look at the back of the eye. So we're going to go through your cornea and then the lens and focus the light right at the back. We can see all the blood vessels, and we'll take it from there. Put your chin on the chin rest.
Okay.
And we'll get started.
And so am I just looking forward?
You will find an X, and you will be looking at the X, Alex. That is a beautiful shot. This is your macula. This is what you are using for 20/20 for reading, which you're doing very well, by the way. Unfortunately, you lost a lot of your rods. Most of your rods are gone. And this is a very thin retina in the periphery. So this part of the retina is not working. The rods are gone, but the one in the center is actually intact. And that's good news. That's very good news. So you want to keep that. But what I find difficult is progressive. So basically, you still have most of your vision intact. But you know that after a certain age, you very likely will reach the 2200, so basically legal blindness. That is something that we cannot change. So understanding why you lose vision is essential so that we can have an early diagnostic of very specific triggers, what causes it, and targets so we can prevent it. In my opinion, that's why vision research is important, because there's a lot that we don't know. And at the same time, I would hope that would allow people appreciating the gift of vision, that vision, we take it for granted, but actually it's a very complex process, and that we are born with this very complex process. We might as well learn about it and respect it.
So how do we see? The process of translating light signals into visual images has a number of steps. So, to help visualize the journey that light takes as it travels through the eye, let's pretend that we're photons, or light particles. Starting from our source of light, the first step is to traverse through the cornea, the clear protective outer layer of the eye. After we pass through the cornea, we hit the lens. The bent shape of the lens helps to direct photons to the retina. Next, we pass through the vitreous humor, the jelly-like center of the eye. At the back of the eye, past the vitreous body, we hit the retina. This is where the photoreceptors are located. Once we hit the photoreceptors, a signal is sent to the brain, which helps to interpret the light signals and form a visual image. And that's how you see.
The truth is, you think that you see the world in fine details throughout your whole visual field. It's an illusion. You see fine details only in 5 degrees. So try to look slightly away from your book that you're reading, and you'll find that you cannot read that book. Your acuity, your ability to see fine detail goes down. So macular degeneration is unfortunately the degeneration or the loss of cells in that region called the macula that we use.
Age-related macular degeneration is a condition that affects the macula in the eye. The macula is located centrally at the back of the eye and is responsible for central vision, focusing, and reading and identifying fine details. Deterioration can happen both rapidly and slowly depending on the form of AMD, and in some cases, people aren't even aware that they have it. There are two types of AMD, the dry form and the wet form. 90% of cases involve the dry form, and that refers to the buildup of yellowish drusen that builds up in the macula. While the cause of dry AMD is still not known, there is a connection that researchers have found between the buildup of drusen in the macula with the condition. The other type, the wet form of AMD, gets its name from the buildup of blood vessels in the outer retina, which subsequently leak and distort vision. Symptoms of AMD include blurry central vision and the inability to see fine detail. Now, the issue with the blurry vision is that it doesn't seem to go away and it can't be corrected with glasses. As the symptoms progress, the blurry field may expand, as well as dark spots forming in your central visual field. A simple test that can be done at home to help determine if you have AMD is the Amsler grid test. Now, the Amsler grid is a black grid on a white piece of paper with a black dot in its center. You hold it 12 inches away from your face and cover one eye. If any of the lines on the grid appear wavy or disappear, it could be an early sign that you have AMD. Now, the results of this test are in no way definitive, and if you feel you do have early signs of AMD, it's important to check with an eye care professional and get your eyes tested regularly. Coming up on Eye on Research, we learn how food plays an important role in eye health. Back to Eye on Research.
So AMD obviously stands for age-related macular degeneration. So age, well, it's an opportunistic disease. As we get older, the chances of getting AMD gets higher. There's also smoking, but we're smoking less as a whole. So that's a good thing. But smoking definitely is the biggest contributor after age. And there's also genetics. Overall, we can say that genetics might be a contributor to a slightly higher prevalence of AMD. Light exposure. So basically, if you're not wearing sunglasses when you go to the beach and your pigmentation is more of a fair complexion as opposed to dark, that's definitely also another risk factor. You can't modify your skin pigmentation, but what you can do is wear glasses. So light damage, because most of the light falls where the macula is, and we're talking about macular degeneration, will contribute to damage. So you can reduce it by wearing sunglasses. Lifestyle in general, so basically the immune system modulation, we don't understand fully what will change your immune system, but food might be an element. That is something that has been studied by the age-related eye disease study in the United States, and basically a lesser intake of whole foods that contain very important antioxidants like lutein, zeaxanthin. But it is a fact that over the past years, the diet has not included as many whole colored foods, primary food, as it should have. Remember the acronym ACE, like an ACE, A-C-E. So these three vitamins are all antioxidants as well. Vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E are all antioxidants, and they're all found in the eye as well in many other parts of the body. Where do you find A, C, and E? Well, a lot in fruits and vegetables. Where do you find other antioxidant carotenoids? In colored vegetables and the fruits. So what are they? Kale would be the highest level of lutein zeaxanthin, which is quite specific to macula. Any colored foods, kiwis would have antioxidant. Most colored foods and whole food would be your best source of antioxidants And as much as you can, get them fresh. And if it's frozen, no big deal. So vegetables, fruits that have colors, and enjoy them.
Antioxidants play a huge role in the preservation of your eyes. In front of me, I got 4 superfoods that are chock full of antioxidants, starting with kale. Now, kale is truly a superfood when it comes to antioxidants. It is filled with both lutein and zeaxanthin, the only 2 antioxidants that are found in the macula. It is versatile, and along with all the other dark leafy greens, they are a great source of antioxidants and vitamins. Next, we have blueberries. Blueberries actually contain the highest concentration of antioxidants among fruits and vegetables. They taste great, and they're very low in calories, so feel free to eat a bunch at a time.
So what's been popular in the news over the past 10 years, something called resveratrol. Maybe you heard that name, resveratrol. Resveratrol is a very powerful antioxidant. It's not a carotenoid, it's a different type. But it's also responsible for the color of the grapes. So they're very green grapes or very red grapes.
Like blueberries, grapes contain high levels of antioxidants, but contain a higher concentration of the antioxidant resveratrol. This has led to the link that red wine can offer the health benefits of grapes, and therefore contains a lot of health benefits when consuming it. But the amount of resveratrol in wine isn't enough to reap the benefits through drinking it. Oh well, still nice to have a glass every once in a while. That's good.
But what red wine does to people who are receptive to it in a constructive, fun way, it relaxes you. And the immune system, again, functions better when you're not stressed. So people will use red wine as a social catalyst or as a way to get around the table to laugh. It's wonderful. And usually I would drink red wine with food and good food and prepared. It doesn't have to be expensive, but prepared by yourself. So 1 glass, maybe 2 at the most for men and 1 for women on a daily basis, but that's about it. And as long as it makes you happy, I'm not here to judge, but the alcohol in excess definitely is a neurotoxin and will kill neurons. And as you're 20 years of age and older, you lose about 1,000 neurons every day. You have billions, but 1,000 a day, and you get older, it starts to impact not only your brain, but your retina is part of the brain.
Lastly, as part of our antioxidant supergroup, we have carrots. Now, they actually get their color from an antioxidant called carotenoids. Now, that's pretty simple to remember. And growing up, I was always told, eat your carrots if you want to have good vision and good night vision. But is that actually true? The concept originated in World War II when British fighter pilots were able to strike their targets with great accuracy in the middle of the night. The reason given was the fact that carrots were a big part of their diet, when in reality, it was due to advances with radar technology. Now, that myth may not be true, but carrots do in fact have health benefits for vision. There is some benefits to having carrots as part of your diet. The carotenoids are actually transformed into vitamin A when you consume it. And vitamin A is vital for eye health as it helps to convert light into signals. Nothing quite like taking a bite out of history. This carrot's not bad either. When Ion Research returns, we meet a 94-year-old woman living with AMD. Now for more Ion Research.
So when you're looking at nutrients, the rule of thumb is it should be in the food that you eat, and the food that you eat with friends or with family, that you have pleasure and you eat it slowly and you just enjoy it.
Another nutrient vital to eye health is omega-3 fatty acids. They are found within the eye, and they also help to maintain vision. While omega-3s are important, it's also key to remember to balance the amount of omega-6s in your system to the amount of omega-3s. To help do so, you consume food that have high omega-3 content. For instance, cold water fish, like the salmon I have in front of me. They are chock full of omega-3 fatty acids, and so that can help balance the ratio between omega-6s to omega-3s. It also contains high levels of DHA.
DHA is a very, very, very important fatty acid because 50% of all the fat, half of the fat that you have in your photoreceptors is DHA. It's an omega-3. You find it in fish, cold water fish, so that would be salmon, also mackerel, and you want to have fish that is non-predatorial because the more fish eat other fish and other fish, the more the toxins, the BPAs and all these toxins get concentrated in the mercury as well. We're not alarmists, but there is a bit of mercury, just a bit, and that will cause cancer. So you don't want to eat big fish like tuna. You want to go easy on tuna, and you want to, mackerel would be great, or just the Pacific fresh salmon. There are companies that will basically take everything that I mentioned and make it as a formula. And when you buy these fish oils, they always come balanced with DHA and EPA. It's another one. So DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid. So two very important fatty acids.
Another superfood that contains high levels of omega-3 is eggs. They are delicious, nutritious, and they also contain the antioxidants lutein and zeaxanthin, which are also vital to eye health. Plus, they're so versatile that you can enjoy them in a number of different ways. Flax seeds. They pack a punch with a high amount of omega-3s, they're high in protein, and they're becoming more and more popular by the day. Finally, it brings us to corn. Now, corn is North America's most popular vegetable. It is so widely used and distributed that it can be found in some way, shape, or form in almost every single processed food we eat. Now, corn contains lutein, it contains omega-3s and omega-6s. But the issue with corn is the amount and the ratio of omega-6s to omega-3. On a typical diet, you want to try to maintain a ratio of 5 omega-6s for every 1 omega-3s. In corn, however, the ratio is a staggering 45 to 1 in favor of omega-6s. Because corn is so prevalent, it causes such an imbalance in the omega-3s in your system that it actually deteriorates and is harmful for eye health. It is also important to minimize the amount of processed food you eat. They are highly spiked with corn and soya-derived ingredients, which leads to imbalances in the fatty acids. Omega-6s far outweigh the omega-3s. They also contain fructose as a sweetener, which the body cannot use as an immediate source of energy, but rather stores it as fat. AMD is the leading cause of vision loss in Canada. Over 1.4 million Canadians are affected by the disease, and that number is set to rise drastically over the next few years, especially with the baby boom population reaching the age of 65.
Unfortunately, the numbers are increasing. And one reason why the numbers are increasing is the demographics of people getting older. We've hit the waves of the baby boomers. So we're talking about the people who have reached 65 years of age, and that tidal wave, we're in it. A dear friend of mine, 94 years old, with AMD, very healthy, Joyce Wilcox. Basically, she is almost legally blind, but she is curious. Joyce, you there?
I think I am.
Hey, there you are. I knew I'd catch you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Ooh, good to see you.
I'm so happy you're there.
I think I was surprised because I wasn't aware that I had a problem and I wasn't aware I had a condition. And then you just accept it. That's what I've always done with life, is accept things as they come. But I get very disgusted and discouraged every once in a while. When you have as many years in life as I have with your sight, and then all of a sudden you haven't got it anymore, it's a whole new world to get accustomed to and to realize that things have changed. And you start your life over again when you don't have all your proper vision. But you adapt. That's the big word, is adapt. Then you get involved with people like Eves, and they explain this stuff to you. They help you as best they can, they can't give you your eyesight back. Someday they will. And you look forward to that day when one of these days you'll have your eyesight back. You won't at my age, but the younger generation will.
About 3 years ago, when she was losing more, so she changed like from dry to the wet type, so that's the more advanced. So losing really the central vision in one eye, I say it might progress, Joyce. So what I did is I took her on a tour to see orchids. You have something precious and you know you're going to lose it, right? But you don't want to be alarmist, you don't want to be anxious about it, but you want to just cherish what you have. So how do you cherish what you have? Well, in Joyce's case, we just went and see orchids.
Her love for orchids is equal to her love of music and playing the piano.
That piano that I carry in my bedroom is my godsend. I sit down here at this piano and during the night, if I can't sleep, and that calms me down. And well, I shouldn't say calms me down. It eases me, and it brings back a lot of memories.
I asked Joyce what steps she hopes are taken with AMD research, and her response was simple.
More education and public education. And if you talk about things, that's how you learn.
She energizes me. Albeit she is losing more of her sight, she is more active than ever at 94 years of age and a big proponent for vision research. We cannot prevent AMD, but what we can do is reduce the risks by targeting what factors can be changed. You can't change your genetic. Genetic is only one of the contributors to AMD. You can't change your age, but you can stop smoking and you can change the way you eat. And finally, balance your immune system. And one way to boost your immune system, laugh. Yes, I did say laugh, because when you laugh, it's been proven that it actually does boost your immune system. And I'm not saying that research has been done, laughing prevents AMD. No, what I'm saying is boost your immune system. So if you're gonna have a good meal if you can with friends and laugh about it. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Sight is so important, and that's why researchers like Eve work to improve the lives of people with vision loss. In learning about AMD, I discovered how people see differently, and it has given me a greater perspective and appreciation for my own vision. Thank you for joining me as I ventured into the eye with Eye on Research. Broadcast presenter Alex Smyth. Producers Patrick Kelly and Alex Smyth. Videographer and editor Patrick Kelly. Graphics Mike Smith. Audio post Mark Phoenix. Integrated described video specialist Ron Rickford. Thanks Ava Carvinen. Post-production supervisor Janice Zivatilli. Senior producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Kara Nye. Director Programming AMI TV Brian Perdue. Vice President Programming and Production John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2018 Accessible Media Inc.